Previously on Chief Concerns.
He started with the all games last year for us. He's won a Super Bowl with us. And to say that he's not worth it, when I think, just my opinion, he was the best corner that we had with our secondary.
I think he came in around 2011. 12, 11 to 12, I think he came in. So 8 years. So he's probably around about like 30, close to it.
Yeah.
Get about 3 good years out of it, 3 or 4. Sure.
Julio is still a threat. I don't care how you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Joe, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns. It's episode 31. Let's call it the Priest Holmes episode. But no, Priest Holmes is not going to be on this episode, just the number 31 aspect of it. But right now we're here with me and Jason Dunn, our former tight end. Eric will be joining us in a little bit. I think some traffic problems on the road in Texas. But JD, how you been, buddy?
Good. I'm doing well. So it's warmed up here in the state of Kentucky, and it's things have been moving along pretty steadily. Actually, I had a first time, be honest with you, I've been out really eating inside of a restaurant, but everything's been going good. And it was good to catch up with a friend. It was for his birthday, so it was just a small group. But other than that, man, everything's been well. Everything's been well.
Also, we talked about it a little bit last week. It's NBA playoff season, so now
Yeah.
we're getting to that part of the year. It's the football's ramping up, but we got the wind down of the basketball season. Your boys, your Lakers, 1-1 with the Suns right now. My Sixers up 2-0 over the Wizards. Yeah, it's looking good for both their teams. I know Eric's team's long gone with his Golden State Warriors. So long, Steph. But
so long, Steph, man. I always hate to see Steph go, man. He just makes the game much more exciting. It's good to watch him out there, but he got to go fishing. Go fishing or golf, whatever he loves doing. Hey, Steph, take a back seat, man. Sit down for a little bit. I'm a big, AD fan, of course, University of Kentucky, LeBron from being up this way, close to it. I mean, look, these guys, and I love this great ball. And this is the time, man, the playoffs is the most exciting time, watching the best shots, the great competition. It's like any other sport, man. Once you get to the playoffs, man, the juices are flowing, man. Everything turns up to a whole different notch. And so you want to see, these guys go out there and they compete, make it a great game. You never want to see a blowout, and you shouldn't see a blowout during this time of the playoffs. Yeah. But that's when I think, the stakes go up without a doubt, but they, everybody means business at this point. Yeah. So,
yeah, I'm in agreement. I do think the first round of the playoffs should be go back to what it was in the 90s, which was a 5-game series. Then there was this Eastern Conference and Western Conference semifinals. That's when we roll to the 7-game series. But, I think in the East, it's needed more so than the West. The competition's so good out there. You can do 7-game series, but the East first round, like the Sixers, Wizards, even the Bucks and Heat, which I'm surprised by that. But then the Brooklyn and Boston series, I mean, it's kind of getting out of hand with the top 3 seeds, but what are you going to do? But okay, guys, so it is a Chiefs show. So we're gonna get away from basketball. We're gonna get back into the Chiefs here. But before we head to our first segment, we have a word from our sponsor in BetOnline. Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. It's NBA playoff season, people. So you know what that means? It's time to place some wagers. And the best place to do that is on BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. And it's the best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. So head to the website, BetOnline.AG, or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, guys, so our first concern of the night is the topic that's on everyone's mind right now, which is Julio Jones. Now, the question for you guys tonight was, should the Chiefs make a big concerted effort to bring in Julio Jones, who is they're saying he'll be traded after June 1st by the Atlanta Falcons But I've seen on Twitter a lot of Chiefs fans saying, "Oh, we can't afford him." Even other teams saying that we can't afford him. But here's a tidbit: the Chiefs spent $12 million in Watkins in 2019, and we're willing to spend up to $16 million if he hit his incentives in 2020. Then they offered Juju Smith $11 million if he hit incentives for 2021. So why is it even crazy to think we can't afford Julio at an average of $12 million over the next 3 years? So that's my question there. And if we're willing to spend all that money for Juju, why can't we do that with the Julio Jones? But the question to you is, should the Chiefs make a big effort to bring in Julio Jones?
Well, I tell you what, why not? I look at it like this, right? You're talking about the money we was going to spend, and I know it was a different time, and you know how the market goes. Yeah. Everything changes so fast. Free agency, guys go different places. We have more money. We start signing more guys. And so now, because we have signed more free agents, the money trying to get stretched out is really the question, right? Can we make concession to get him in here? And the real question is, first off, can a guy help us, right? Number one, absolutely. No, without a doubt. The most dynamic wide receivers in the past, I want to say 10 years, that we've seen in the NFL with his size, with his speed, route running, everything. He had some injuries last year. Only played, what it was like 9 games, something like that. But I mean, it's Julio Jones, right? I mean, we're talking about pinnacle guys. We've been talking all this past all season on other guys that have been coming in the room, who we have already in the room. And I know we get into that conversation, does the Chiefs have a legitimate wide receiver too? That's the question. And which is just, it's a little funny to me because, the guys that's there in the room, I think we have a legitimate wide receiver too, all right? Because guys need opportunities. Because how do you get a legit wide receiver too if you don't have any opportunities to show these legit wide receiver too? And so guys develop, right? I mean, it took guys a couple of years to develop, to what they were. So that's how guys become like that legit wide receiver. And these guys are young guys, the one that's in the room right now. So yes, it would be, I think we should try to make at least some type of concession if we're not happy with where we at in the room, right? So it's all about, risk and reward. It's risk and reward here, all right? Do we spend the money on Julio Jones and give up, maybe a draft pick here and there? I think they're looking for a first round, whatever. Is he worth it? He's a proven guy. We know that. If he comes in and he gets, 60, 70 balls, I mean, that's all we need. Just need to get him into the end zone. That's part of the problem. He just hasn't been scoring a lot of touchdowns. Kind of looked at his stats. My nephew is a big Julio Jones. We talk about him a lot. Let me put it that way in our little fantasy league. So he talks about him, what he's done, what he hadn't done. So he's kind of put me privy to like what some of his stats were. But I do believe that we need to make concessions to kind of get him in because he'll teach the young guys what they need to do. Like I said, he'll make us win. Definitely make us better, and we're gonna get out of him what we need the next like 3 to 4 years. So $12 million, I don't think it's a big deal. The question is, who you gonna get rid of at the time when guys come up in free agency, right? That's the real issue. Now the cap, of course, is going up, but still you got to start. Here's the moving number aspect of it, right? That's the issue. But hey, man, look, Julio Jones is Julio Jones, right? So there's only one of those guys out there. Like I said, this dude you ain't getting him off the street corner somewhere, or he ain't at the car wash, or doing in somebody's classroom, teaching calculus at this moment. We need somebody like Julio Jones. There's only one guy like him out here. Why not go ahead and get him if you got a chance? So I'm in favor of it. Saying all that to say, I'm in favor.
And I think this is one thing. Obviously we have Travis Kelce, we have Tyreek Hill. Adding Julio Jones to that, what does that do for, I guess, matchups across the board for our Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, having Julio Jones there? What does that do to a defense? And when you have those guys coming out, just kind of talk to us about the kind of game plan that's going to, the disaster that's going to cause for the defensive coordinator on the other side of the football.
Oh man, I mean, they're already with the type of system that they set up with the motion, stretching the defense, vertically and horizontally. Now you add an element like Julio Jones in, which you already had to cover the field. And guys were, defensive coordinators was already having nightmares with who you had out there on the field already. Now you add Julio Jones to the mix. I mean, it's like, look, hopefully all you can do is, try to slow him down because you ain't going to be able to stop him. And you hope that, hopefully the Chiefs will stop themselves on offense, which doesn't seem like it'll happen when you have those guys out there on the field. So we're just talking about adding a whole different, threat and dynamic, player to what you do offensively, right? So defensive coordinators, you're not going to be able to double. Well, you could try to double Julio up, but then you leave Travis and Hill open, Robinson. All those guys are going to eat. Hardman, every single guy. So what are you going to do? You're going to be just a guy short. And any Joe against Joe, look, I take those Joes all day. Julio against your DB, I'll take him. Tyreek against your DB and safety, I'll take him. Travis Kelce against your linebacker safety, corner, I'll take him. So that's three guys legitimately on the field right now, which I would say is without a doubt in the top. Keeping Julio where his reputation, top 20 receivers, period, in the league right now. 15 maybe, So that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And then you got the number one quarterback throwing the ball to him.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
Firepower, baby. He's gonna come out, man, like the guns of Navarone. Woo!
Would you say that Tyreek Hill and forget Travis Kelce, but Tyreek Hill and Julio Jones, would that be one of the best wide receiver tandems of all time?
Absolutely. Of all time? Yeah, that would be conversation of it. That would definitely be a conversation of it, right? Because we're talking just ability here. Absolutely. So you're talking about one of the fastest guys, or one of the two fastest guys that's ever played a game. All right. And it's just, what are you going to do? The threat what you do on defense, it would definitely be a hard combination. It had to be at least in an argument of being one of the top tandems in the NFL of all times, right? I mean, seriously, just based off numbers, what they've done.
Right.
So, but hopefully it happens and it will produce, right? Let's speak into fruition those things that happen, right? Yep. So they do become the best receiving core of all time. But yeah, they would be, no doubt about it.
Yeah, because you also throw, and then when you throw Travis Kelce in the mix, then that's the best number 1, 2, and tight end of all time on a team together.
Yeah, trio guys. Yeah, that's definitely. I'm just going through history and just kind of looking at teams. I think I had a conversation about the wide receivers. Of course, we were talking about Hall of Fame, who should be in there, who shouldn't be in there,
right? Quarterbacks
and whatnot. So of course, wide receivers came in, but as far as trio, what was when we talked? We had to go back to like Dan Fouts when it was like Charlie Jordan, Winslow, and who's the other guy that they had? It was a third guy. I can't even think who the third guy is, but these guys we know. So yeah, it'd be a tough trio, to deal with.
Right. And then when you also add in the fact it's the best quarterback in the league right now, and also argument that can be made in 10 years' time that he might be the best quarterback of all time. So to have those four, I mean, obviously we don't know if this is going to happen with Julio. It's all speculation, just us talking as fans here. But that would be insane. What an all season to go from no offensive line, a revamped O line, then you bring in Julio Jones as the to solve the other receiver position. That's like a Christmas wish list right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just tell you, Veachman and Andy, they ain't taking no chances, ain't taking no princes, just coming at these guys. It's like, look, this is what we want. We're talking about absolutely making this sound effort of trying to make this thing a dynasty. Going after, we ain't just trying to win this year. We talking about setting us up for these, 1, 2, 3, like as long as Patrick's here, putting pieces around him, putting people in there who's going to protect him. And as long as we have that, and he's back there throwing the ball to like those level wide receivers and tight ends, we talking about doing some serious damage, man. We trying to put in the legacy here in the record books. So yeah. Everything looks good right now. So we'll hopefully Julio comes through. We'll see. You know what I mean? It's all talk. Everybody's got. I heard somebody said, I seen Julio here. I saw. Look, man, but hey, none of that matters. You can see a Joker anywhere. He could be in my backyard right now. Don't mean I'm signing him. So don't mean anything.
Last question on the Julio topic. What did you make of? Did you think Shannon Sharp did him wrong by not telling him he was on TV when he called him?
Yes. And which was was odd because I was like, why would he call him during this time, especially on air? So that's what I was thinking. I was just like, well, maybe he called him early. We said, look, man, I might call you. Be ready when I call you. So I'm hoping Shannon did that, and Julio was just kind of talking because he was already frustrated, and he was just kind of throwing some things out there, just kind of playing, just on the air type of deal, making it entertaining. I don't know, but I didn't think it was probably the best time on the conversation. If I call you, hey man, guess what? You on the air, right? You immediately say that. Hey, I got you on the air right now. I want to ask you a question. That way he can get prepared, he can get ready, and like, hey, I'm just gonna hold everything close to me and my agent, and we do it with it then. But right now, everything's a possibility. So I don't know. I didn't quite understand that. I was like, why would he do that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. Like I've seen so many people like call out Sharp and stuff. Obviously, I don't think he did. He wasn't doing it maliciously. He was just he was just calling him to talk to him. It just so happens, he was on air and all that stuff. And I think it's after the fact. But now that Sharp's in the media industry, he's got to remember this kind of stuff. He can't get caught up in that, But he knows.
Look, Shannon, this is what I look because he brings things out, and how he speaks like we would be in a room kind of talking. And you sit there trying to get stats. Like, hold on, man. Well, let me call my boy real quick. You talking all this? I got him on the phone. Let me call him. And so, you can't get caught up in that moment if that's what it was. That's kind of a hiccup there. Because that's what the Skip was like. Are you really calling me? Like, he's like, yeah, he's gonna pick up. So I don't know.
But it took a while of Atlanta's bargaining power by hearing him say he was out of there. So I think that really killed Atlanta. If I'm the Falcons GM and the ownership there, I'm pissed off really big time about this.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you can look at it both ways. You can be pissed off about it, or you can just say, hey, you know what, maybe he did us a favor. Now we could come at him in a different way. Like, look, you don't put this out here, you're gone. We want you to stay here. So what we need to do to keep you here, we can say whatever out here, but the real deal goes out here in this room. How do you feel? All right. If you're frustrated, we can talk about it. He's been there long enough. So, I mean, come on. That's, they drafted him. And sometimes you got to love there and a little bit of, kind of a responsibility. You feel like, some fealty to them, like giving them the first shot in the bid. So I don't know. You could look at it both ways. I just like, look, all right, you know what? He's going to do that. Then we're going to make teams pay. Right? Nothing. If you want him, it's what you got to ask, get for him too. So that's negotiations, man. That's why you never don't. Hey, tight lip.
Even if Shannon Sharp calls you, tight lip.
Yeah, what they got? Hey, Sharp. Hey, man, let me call you back a little bit later. Oh, you got me on air right now? Well, look, man, we just visiting people. We doing, we being happy with everything, and we talking to everybody. You still love Atlanta? Yeah, I still love Atlanta. Of course I do. That's what they back to me. Why wouldn't I? Hey, listen, I got to go. I'll talk to you later. All right, click.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
Okay, so we're gonna move to our next chief concern, which also involves a former Atlanta former Atlanta Falcon is this guy we're about to talk about. Soon to be former Atlanta Falcon will be Julio Jones, but next guy is Todd Gurley. So ESPN's Bill Barnwell wrote an article this week about veterans that he thinks will be joining up with teams before training camp that are still available. Todd Gurley was one of them. He thinks Todd Gurley could be a short yardage back for the Kansas City Chiefs going into the upcoming season. In the article, he writes, the 26-year-old doesn't have the legs to be a full bell cow, which is crazy that Todd Gurley's 26. I feel like we've been talking about him for 10 years. And the way he plays, the way we talk about him with his knee issues, I feel like he's like a 30-year-old running back, which goes to show you how much running backs, just like chewed up and spat out after so many carries. But anyway, so he thinks that he's going to come over to the Chiefs by training camp. I think as of today, Gurley was visiting Detroit Lions, so he's still a free agent. He's still visiting. What are your thoughts on the potential of addition of Todd Gurley to the Chiefs?
Ooh, oh man, that's exciting too. So you just talked about Julio Jones. Now you're talking about Todd Gurley? What's going on here? What's going on? He's Kingdom out there with them Chiefs, man. I tell you what, hey, that would be exciting to have him there. And you're just talking about he's 26 years old, man, but it just shows you the shelf life of running backs, man, in the NFL. I mean, these guys are the ones get hit the most at anybody, right? When you got the 11 guys coming after them, then you got their own guys piling on, trying to get those guys from hitting him too. So, man, Gurley, man, the last couple of years, man, it's been kind of tough to kind of watch him, because, I try to get him on my fantasy. And he's been banged up, man. Knee problems and issues is real. Is absolutely real with a guy that was dynamic just a few years ago. One of the best running backs in the league. Shoot, I want to say about 3-4 years ago. That's who you wanted with the Rams. So, man, it's unfortunate that happens, but if we could get him, that'd be exciting. I mean, if you think about what we added into the room. So we got Jared McKinnon, okay, right? That came into the room. He's been battling injuries, so he hadn't really been in his old form either. And so, Hilaire, which is a great back, but we need a guy to be able to run through between the tackles. Todd Gurley is that. He gives you a big back. He didn't have I was watching, some of the highlights, of him and my Apple Watch. Okay. Well, talk to you later. But, he didn't really have that burst like I used to see him. You could see just that little bit where he was looking for that leg to go and build through because he has huge thighs on him. But man, the guy's still effective. Absolutely. If you get your Todd Gurley in here, man, take him too. Take him. So, but moving numbers. What can we do? How can we really court this guy? Because now you're talking about getting, Julio Jones and Todd Gurley here. Man, that'd be phenomenal if you can do that. So, these guys right here, man, are just, we talking about legitimate guys. But I do like that possibility. It looks really good to have him in the room. Like you said, short yardage guy, third down. Give Hilaire, a little break here. But that two-headed monster, man, it'd be dangerous. So then all of a sudden, now you're competing. I would say that would be better than two-head monster that's out there in Cleveland. For real.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. Todd Gurley, man, Hilaire, Williams on the back end, absolutely. So that would be a dangerous room, man. They getting weapons around him. If they get all these weapons like that, it would be no excuse for guys not to win, barring injury, right? So You got the offensive line put in, try to get all the wide receivers. You got a great tight end, you got a great running backs, get a bet, another guy here, who's a proven guy, it's been kind of so for the past couple of years. Man, dangerous, man. Dangerous.
Yeah. So. It also goes to what I think you and I talked about a little bit earlier is that what Andy Reid has done since he's gotten with the Chiefs, he usually brings in that veteran presence. So like the C.J. Spiller was a guy he brought in at the beginning of his tenure. Was kind of a joke because he would bring him back like every so often. And C.J. Spiller was a badass running back with the Buffalo Bills for a couple of years when he was splitting with Fred Jackson. And then you take it to the last few years going to get LaShawn McCoy, which didn't work out. He was at the pretty much twilight of his career. And then we end up bringing in Le'Veon Bell last year, which, brought in mid-season, didn't work out, whatever. But bringing in Todd Gurley for a need, we talked about it last year. The short yardage was kind of an issue. Right now, we don't know if that was the offensive line issue or is that just our running game. That was the issue. But Darrell Williams, not a bad short yardage guy. Then you bring in Todd Gurley, another two guys who are good short yardage backs. And then you have CEH, who could be our every down guy, with Jerick McKinnon being a pass catching back. So, I mean, that's a good room. Obviously, I don't know if you're going to – and we also have Darwin Thompson, too. So that's 5 backs going into the season. Probably not going to carry 5 backs going into the season. I mean, not in this day and age, at least. No. Yeah, I mean, with no reason to, So you're looking at guys significantly to play some special teams, no doubt. But, those guys, that's a beautiful room to look at. Shoot, you can imagine open the door, you just look in, Todd Gurley, everybody looking back, Jerry McKinney, like, woo, I'm going to leave y'all alone. I'll let y'all get off the board a little bit. All right? Look at some highlights. Woo, I'd be excited I'd be excited opening some rooms at the Chiefs right now. Yeah.
Open up, man. You're looking in the tight end room, Kelsey, Gray, like, okay, yeah. All right. Hey, man, how y'all doing? Good, peace. Perfect. So.
Yeah, a running back room like that would be intimidating of just the NFL talent that you have in there.
Yes, sir.
Man. All right, so final question tonight is, so we've had a couple Chief fans write into us saying they really, at this time of the year, being the OTAs, the rookie minicamp, all that stuff, Chief fans wanted to get a sense of how that was for you. What kind of process was that for you, like the rookie minicamp, the OTA experience, and just the whole overall of everything after the fact that after the time you got signed and drafted, what happens after that? What's the process look like?
Oh man, well, it's really short as far as trying to take everything in. I mean, you're trying to digest, first that you get drafted, right? That now your life has just changed, not just your life, but everybody else's lives around you has changed too. And so you trying to bask in that celebratory feel is so incredible that now your head is just spinning. So immediately during my process, they flew you out, like immediately, like the next day, like, hey, let's come on up here. Let's, get ready 1 or 2 days. And, we're getting in and it was, hey, how you doing? Meeting everybody, organization, talking about the playbook, expectations, how they're going to do things, where you're going to live. So you start working all these things out in your head, and it's just like a whirlwind of just information. That's what it is. And so that process, man, it could be overwhelming. I know for me, it was like, wow, okay, wait a minute, hold on, I got to do this. You're not really getting any sleep. You're too excited because to sleep because you you just got your dream job, and he's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then it really dawns on you, what just happened. And so now, like I said, you're in the city. I remember taking a picture of me and Jermaine Mayberry, and they had us like building blocks and a hard hat talking about building the future for the team. And I was like, man, and to see the paper, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is here, this is real. But just dealing with that as far as once you get drafted, going into the camps, meeting everybody, man, it's just, like I said, it could be overwhelming. It's a lot. And so then you talk about when all the veterans come in, right? OTAs and the lifting, and the first time you actually start seeing guys that you was playing, on your PlayStation and all of that, and you watching them like, man, this is who's in the room with me. Finally here. I think I came in, I called everybody Mr. Hey, Mr. Such and Such. Hey, Mr. Such and Such. How you doing, Mr. Such and Such? Right. And so, that aspect of it is kind of cool too. Just getting to know your new teammates. And thankfully, I had a group of great veteran guys that I came in the room with. I had Ed West, the toolbox, as we used to call Ed West, the toolbox. Ed was a guy that had already played for 13 years, knew the coaches, called every coach by their first name, which I thought was so cool. I came back from college. I'm like I was calling everybody Mr. Hey, Ray, what's going on, man? And it was like, he was one of those guys, but he taught me what I needed to do, took me in open arms. And another one was Jimmy Johnson, man. Jimmy Jam, man, was played for 10 years. Another great tight end that just taught me the ropes about, what it means to be a pro. This is what you do. This is how you maneuver and operate, and just kind of took you under the wing. And they understood when I came in, I got drafted, that this is the direction they was going. And they was fine with it. And I was so thankful, so gracious just to have guys like that. So one of the things that when you come into like camp, right, is like some of the things, we talk about, I won't call hazing, but earning your stripes, right? You got to put your time in, right? And I punched my clock. It was like, listen, here's the deal, Rook. Hey, just make sure you get us food when we ask you to get us food. Things we need to get done, like, groceries and stuff. You take care of us, man, as far as the food and stuff, then you good. You don't have to worry about anything else, right? Like, because you got to get up, you got to sing in front of the group. You got to do like this, rookie show and all these different things, man. So the nerves is getting on you because every single time you go into, to lunch or dinner or something, they got a new rookie. Hey, everybody quiet. Jason's going to sing such and such. You're like, oh, man, like, I don't know his song. So, if you suck at it, guess what? You got to go again a different time. So, man, I used to see guys, man, like just wouldn't even come to lunch or, just avoid dinner, like come and get something real quick and just try to leave. Hey, where you going? Rook, no, come back here. You got to do this. And so there's a lot of obligations that you gotta do when you get in. But my guys are like, listen, hey, Jason, he's our rookie. This is our guy. All right. Nobody's gonna mess with him. Nobody gonna. Hey, we got him. He's good. He's with us. And they guys took care of me, man. I didn't have to sing. So I'm sitting there thinking I'm sweating because I see guys getting up there singing out of tune. Boo, and throwing stuff at them and sit down. You're embarrassing yourself. I get up tomorrow. So it's a lot of that, man. There's a lot of things that guys, have to do. Of course, when you come in also too, everybody knows how much you got paid. Oh, you the one signing all that money? Woo! Okay, we're gonna eat good this year. We're gonna eat good with this rookie. So that's another thing. Guys have to go in, the obligation of buying dinner for the veterans, which the guys are more than happy to do it. They really are. But I've seen some bad scenarios where guys, were left with a bill like $25,000 at a dinner bill, and $50,000, like just drinking crazy stuff, wine and Louis and all. Oh man, that is not fun. It's not fun. If you got a good group of guys, man, then that's good. What up, B?
There he is.
Yeah, but so that was, what you have to expect coming in, dealing with the group, the media, the organization, all the players in the city too, man. So it's the learning curve, man. It's got to be like this. It's got to be quick, because if you don't, man, you'll get caught up in the wash. And like I said, it's hopefully you get a good group of veteran guys, man, that kind of take care of you. So I think things have changed a little bit now than what it was before. But I had a great group of guys. Shout out to Ed West, Jimmy Johnson, my man. Right, that's my guys.
Jimmy Johnson, who's your? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
What's the conversation? What's the topic right now?
So right now, we had a couple fans write in and asked to have you guys kind of explain the process from after you got drafted, the whole mini camp OTA experience, and what did that look like for you? JD just got done telling us his story. What did the kind of process look like for you after you got drafted?
Oh, I was nervous. Like shit, I didn't know what to expect. On top of that, like you understand, I was playing a whole new position. Going into a program that was known for, defense at the time because of Derek Thomas, Dale Carter, James Hasty, and all those other guys. So it was scary for me because I was young. I didn't know a whole lot. I thought I knew a lot about football because I played in Nebraska and was on a dominant team. But hell, we didn't run a whole lot of defenses because our defense was so good. And so, we stayed to a few and kept it basic. So going in and having to learn all this stuff, new coaching staff, new players, new position, and it's off-season workouts, basically OTAs, mini camps, whatever. And so, like I told you earlier in of the episodes, like what I did to learn and to get a whole, to basically to get my foot in the door, I hung with the old guys. So I was with Tamar Vanover, Andre Rison, and Derek Thomas a lot. Like that's who I was hanging with 24/7, and just learning and getting everything from these guys. It's like what to look for as a DB, from a wide receiver's perspective. Derek Thomas teaching me the basics of the defense. And James Hasty wasn't the guy that hung out outside of football. He didn't do that. Mark McMillan had family. Dale Carter was on a whole nother level that I couldn't keep up with as far as what's outside of football. He was basically rarely in town. And if there was ever a weekend that we had off, he was back in Atlanta. So most of my time was basically hanging with those guys. So I had to learn from the older guys and not hang with the younger guys. And anytime that I did hang with the young guys, we basically just played cards. It wasn't, going over playbook rules and, what you did at your school basis what I did at my school. It was just, basically stuff like gambling, playing cards and playing pickup basketball. So most of the stuff that I had to learn about the NFL came from the older guys, and especially in those OTAs. But when it came to the classroom stuff, that's when I was, picking at Hasty, Carter, McMillan. Like, what are you guys seeing? Like, how do you guys have to move as far as, because you have to react to everything a receiver does. So, like, what are you looking at? How do I have, what's my strong arm and trying to play at a certain side? Because, like, I see what you guys are doing. I can't mimic it because I have no clue as to why you guys are doing it. And after I learned a lot of those things as to why, I was able to use my size to go out and kind of imitate some of the things that Hasty was doing as opposed to what Carter was doing and Mark McMillan was doing all at once, because they're all built different. They all have different demeanor, different way of playing the game, but I had to do all three of those at one, and it helped. And again, like I said, it helped me also when it came down to making the team, because I knew I didn't have the tangibles that the guy that they drafted, which was Robert Williams. I didn't have quick feet like him. I didn't play corner all my college career. So yeah, I was intimidated by that because, for one, he played it his whole career. Two, he was drafted higher, along with a couple of other guys. So, the whole intimidation factor was there from the start. And so it was just a matter of me trying to, get the upper hand and put somebody on my side. And I was just siding with the older guys because I know when it came down to getting cut, I'd have somebody that could vouch for me.
That's smart.
I tell you, it's crazy because, you're talking about this, and I'm just thinking how even when I came in, like, guys look different. I remember a defensive end I had to block every day, William Fuller. And William Fuller, man, had hair on the side of his arm, on his shoulder. I ain't never seen nobody have hair like patches of big old hair on his arm and shoulder. I'm like, man, I'm in this with some real men in here, right? And it's crazy because when you go into the locker room back in the day at Philly, they used to have like ashtrays. I don't know if I had them ashtrays on y'all locker E, but I know in the old Vet Stadium, they had ashtrays where they used to smoke like during halftime. It was crazy to me. I was like, man,
put it fast.
Yeah. And they said they used to be at halftime, just smoking cigarettes,
Yeah.
Let's get out there and get a second half. Take off running. But you see it, man, that you in there with a whole different mindset. It's a whole different mindset. So we're talking about putting food on the table. Guys are trying to, make sure their families are eating. So competition is different. Everybody's going through and, looking all mean, trying to look bigger, everybody walking on their toes, so chest out.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it's a hard time. But that's a good thing, man. It's like staying with vets. Like I said before, man, the veteran guys they're going to wait. They're going to show you. Because rookies, when you stay together, because we had to like room together and go places together. You had to get in the van and go other places. You didn't really have a car. So like all that in the first time when you get in OTAs and stuff, you just riding. They picking up all the rookies together. Y'all just kind of talking.
Yeah.
And, saucer-eyed, thinking about things. So. Crazy time.
Eric, JD was talking about rookie hazing, that he said since he was with the vets, like Jimmy Johnson and them, they kind of like, separate him away from doing all the stuff where like randomly calling you out to sing a song or something like that. Did you ever get any rookie hazing or anything that memorable?
Everybody goes through that. That's the good part about it. It's not one of those hazings that you go in and have to take a beating. They're not gonna. It's very rare that you see fights because of hazing. And the only reason you might see that is maybe because the guy's getting, he's a little sensitive and he's a little pissed because somebody threw his stuff in the cold tub. He got taped to the goalpost, or he's having to, buy extra stuff and he's tired of buying stuff. That's rare. Those kind of guys, those are the ones that really don't make the team for the long run either. So, but yeah, that's basically the hazing stuff that we went through. And one that hurt me was all rookies usually have to pick up food for the plane or pick up food for Friday. So we were going to Jacksonville, and I think I told this story already. We were going to Jacksonville, and I had to pick up chicken from somewhere in Kansas City, and I didn't know my way around the city that well at the time. And so I'm trying to pick up all this freaking chicken and make it to the airport. I missed the plane. So I had to buy my own plane ticket, pay for my own hotel room, and I got a $5,000 fine.
Wow. Yeah.
And a fine like that for a 7th round pick, I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
Heck yeah. And I had to throw the chicken away. I can't think of the name of the freaking restaurant that was right around the corner from the stadium. It was a soul food restaurant. We used to go there every week, and we pick up food for the DBs at least.
Peachtree. Peachtree. You talking about Peachtree?
100% right. Yeah.
Yeah, Peachtree.
So I didn't want to pick up food for Peachtree. That's the crazy thing, because Peachtree is right by the stadium. But I guess I made a wrong turn somewhere, and man, I was lost. Panic set in, and I was like, fuck, I'm about to miss this plane. Got there, plane was gone. I was like, man, I'm supposed to be with the team. We're sorry, Mr. Warfield, the plane's already gone.
Oh, man.
You know what? I'm actually shocked, man. They told you go ahead and come on. Because some jokers, they tell you, like, look, don't even worry about it. You know, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Get you a plane ticket to come on down there.
Right.
I don't know how you guys did it with the times without GPSs on your phones. I don't know how you guys got around. I'd be lost.
You know what? I should have said the same thing. Like with everything that we do nowadays is based on the iPhone. Mm-hmm. And so like even like going to places maybe 20 minutes from here, not far, I got to punch in the GPS. But I'm in a bigger city too. Mm-hmm. And so, but back in the days, I was like, man, I have no idea how we got from A to B without cell phones.
Communication, man. Look, we paid attention for one. All right, we paid attention to everything, just about. Because if we didn't, then we would find ourselves in the wrong turn, or somewhere that we don't need to be. But two, we communicated. Like somebody would tell you, like, look, they'll tell you take 20 turns, and you know everyone in your head.
Yeah.
Take a left down here and take a right. Then you go. If you go here, you don't went too far. Now, as soon as you see this little, this landmark, you got to make sure you take a left right here. If you don't, you're going to be over here in a whole different city. So you had all that in your head. You had to remember and just like learn, man. That's what it was.
Yeah.
These suckers right here that made us lazy, Marcus. These things right here that made us lazy.
But it's time consuming too.
Yeah, time consuming. We're not better for it.
It helps.
And we don't communicate like we should with each other. Kids be in the same room, literally, and texting each other. Laughing like, what is it? Like, share the joke. And
I brought a conversation. I'm in a high rise down here in Dallas, and it's basically an apartment, but they call them high rises.
Yeah.
And so like I grew up in an apartment back in Arkansas, and as a kid, even as a family, I think we knew everybody in those apartment complexes, almost everybody. And the place I'm at now, you barely speak to people in your hallway. Like it's like you don't know people where you live at now. Yeah. People don't take the time out to do events for the apartments to get to know each other. People are in a hurry to get back to their place and lock their doors and tend to themselves or get to their phones. So, things aren't what they used to be. Like it's communication part and generosity of saying hi and how's your day and smiling at people. You rarely get that.
And I think we were headed in that direction anyway. And then when COVID happened, that kind of gave people more of a reason with the masks and stuff to be more antisocial now. That's what I feel like. Because you get in the elevators with people and they don't really talk to you. I mean, I'll try to strike up a conversation if I see someone wearing a hat. I'm like, oh, you're an Orioles fan or a Redskins fan. Then try to talk that way. But then usually it's a one-word answer and like that's it. It's like, okay, all right, that's it.
Yeah, you know what? You need small town living, man. I grew up in like a small town and out in the country. Everybody just spoke to everybody. That's what you did.
I'm the same way, JD.
Yeah. It's courtesy, common courtesy, man.
And people look at me like, man, why you speak to everybody like them people want? Shit, why not?
Right? Learn a lot, man. You learn a lot from small towns and people, man. You learn a lot. Just common decency. You know, and that's what we're missing right now is just common decency. Everybody wants to be at each other's throat, and there's always got to be a debate and stuff like that, man. But how about, hey, how you doing? You know, and I'm glad you asked. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
You know, how are you? Right? So we need to get there.
Yep. And you came right in time as we're going to head to our guest segment. Tonight we have a special guest, and we have one of the loudest, probably proudest Chief fans I see on Twitter. He goes by Johnny B-Side13, a.k.a. at JB-Side13. The guy is always posting videos. This guy's a great he's a great follow if you don't follow him. And he was really excited to come on the show and talk to you guys tonight.
There we go.
There we go. Johnny, what's going on? Johnny be good. Johnny B, huh?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. What's going on with you guys?
Yeah, just, sitting up doing work right now.
That's it. It's 24/7. The grind is real, man. I feel you.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Where you from, Johnny?
I'm from Chicago originally, but I live in Indiana now.
Okay, so you stay true to Midwest. How are you not a Bears fan?
Well, it's a long story, Eric. I got to tell you that. But I became a Chiefs fan in 1986 when I was brought to Arrowhead Stadium as a kid.
Well, hold on. Wait. That's right after the Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was at the Super Bowl parties in Chicago. It was an exciting time, but I liked Walter Payton, obviously, and I also like Dan Marino and a lot of other players. But for me, it was just NFL football, whatever I could see. There was no direct TV back then or any of that good stuff. So whatever I could get my eyes on, Monday Night Football, staying up late when I wasn't supposed to. And I didn't really have that true allegiance. I wasn't really feeling it. I liked certain players. And then I decided that to Kansas City would be my team. It just took me one time to come into to Arrowhead, and that was it. So I've been a Chiefs fan since 1986. And then Derek Thomas was drafted, and the rest was history.
Gotcha. So you know what's crazy? I'm kind of the same way. So I grew up 2 hours from Dallas. Never been a Cowboys fan. I respect Emmett, Troy and Michael Irvin for what they did. Just never a Cowboys fan. And I became a fan of Jerry Rice and Montana, so I was more of a 49ers fan. So, good Lord. Sorry about that. I had somebody trying to call. Yeah, I was more of a 49ers fan for the longest. And especially when they got Deion Sanders. So, right there next door to the Cowboys, I never was a fan.
I grew up, we didn't go on airplanes. We didn't go on spring breaks and things like that, just kind of doing the old school type thing, didn't waste a lot of dollars with the family. And that was the first time I was ever on a plane and got on that plane. And it was like a whole new world for me. Landed in Kansas City. My mom knew some people out there and they took me all around Kansas City, did all the barbecue, the tailgating, all that stuff. Got the starter coat, fresh starter coat. And they won the game too. They weren't very good that year, but they actually won the game I was at. And that was it, man. I was at Arrowhead one time and I said, that's it. I got my team now. And that's how it all started. So it's where your passion is, not where you're from. That's how I feel it.
I'm with you, man.
Well, you bought away. You bought all the way in. Then once you got the gear, it was over. You was hooked in. Because you had to wear it. So it's just like, oh, okay, this is my squad. This is who I'm repping right now.
Yeah, my neighborhood in the southeast side of Chicago, there wasn't a lot of kids, throwing down the brand new starter coats at the time. I'm going to be honest, whether it was Bears or any other team. So I came into school that next Monday morning after the game. I had a little jump to my step, to say the least. Right. And it was red satin too. I mean, it was in your face. You know what I mean? Shiny as hell.
Hey, Johnny, man, you're going back too far, man. Everybody realized that starter, fit, man. The people having that on, like how it used to be so clean.
Heck yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you talking about some stuff right there now. For real.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Marcus probably wasn't even born.
86? No. But I do have some hand-me-down starter stuff from my older brothers, though. So.
Man, that was harsh. You call them out like that. It's not often you can call somebody out for being young, but I like it.
Now, I went to Chicago a couple of years ago for a music festival, and I ended up going to this bar. And while I'm at this bar, I'm looking around. I see Chief Arrowheads all over the place. And I asked my buddy, I'm like, dude, is this Chiefs bar? He goes, I don't think so, man. And then, like he goes, he sees the Chiefs stuff. I look it up online. It's called Tunes Bar and Grill. It's like a full-on Kansas City Chiefs bar in Chicago. And me being from the DC area, I'm not used to seeing any Kansas City Chiefs bars. So it was actually an awesome place to go to if you haven't been there before.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, but the reality is, where I'm at and what I've been doing for a long time is I'm at the games. I'm a season ticket holder for a long time. And even though I'm in Indiana, I'm 7 hours away. I've been, a season ticket holder for about 15 years straight. And I go to a lot of road games too. I was at both Super Bowls in attendance. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't miss them.
It's a 7-hour car ride?
Yeah, a little bit. If my wife is with me, it's 7 hours and 30 minutes. If I'm alone or with a buddy, it's 7 hours. You know how that rolls.
Right.
Well, Johnny,
that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Johnny, it's awesome having you on tonight. I know we talked about asking questions to Jason and Eric. The floor is yours, my man. Go ahead and ask away to the guys.
Yeah, I'll start with Jason with the offense. I don't know if you guys know, but I actually interviewed Mitch Holtis a few weeks ago on this little sports betting segment that I have out here in Chicago. And he was talking about the second lap in Patrick Mahomes' NFL track, going through the track. He's got the Super Bowl MVP. He's got the MVP. I'm more interested, Jason, what your thoughts are on the dynamic of him and Big Red, Andy Reid, going forward to continue to keep it fresh, keep evolving and have the success that Chiefs Kingdom now has been used to since Andy Reid took over and obviously Mahomes was drafted and developed.
You know what? I think if you got a guy like a talent like Patrick Mahomes, and you see that he's already reaching the pinnacle, right, at being at the top, your job is to strictly maintain it, right? And so, like I was talking on this segment a little bit earlier, what they've done is key in getting the offensive guys, aligned around him. It's all about protecting him, right? I mean, that's your stake. And Andy knows, like, look, this is the guy right here I could ride out, at the end of my career. And Patrick making this thing, like I said, almost building a dynasty here. You really are in the conversation of doing that by some of the moves that's been made and, projected moves right now that's been happening. But, you're thinking about like just the dynamic spot with Patrick Mahomes, where 5 years, things are going to be a little bit different. I don't know how they're going to be different, but they're going to be different somehow. And you always look for a guy to adapt, right? Because you always look at like some of the quarterbacks back in the day, like, well, how would they play in this era? How would they play in this era? And so now you're going to start seeing, more just guys, we've seen it change in the past 10 years offensively, what they just been doing with systems. And so now with Patrick and Andy, I think Andy knows, like I said before, this is a guy that I could rely on. I don't have to worry about, he's timeless with what he does. As long as he has his strong arm, he can do a lot of things for a long time, right? And so we're just looking for something like that. Andy just knows. We don't know how long Andy's going to be there, but Andy knows, like, if I had to take my stake and bet the farm, I'm going to bet it on him, right? And Patrick's going to be my guy. And Patrick knows it. So my thing is, you make him a lifelong Chief. It's not even a question, to me. This is the guy that you want. It's almost, when I'm thinking about this, the question you asked, it's almost like looking at Brett Favre, right? We've seen Brett Favre's development, and then all of a sudden at the end of his career, it's like he went somewhere else, and it didn't seem right. He was,
right.
What's going on? Like, you couldn't work something out to have him here for the rest of the endurance of his career, which I guess you could say he did because he retired on us a couple of times, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So, but yeah, Patrick, man, and Andy, I think, man, it's a match made in heaven, and you just keep it there, right? keep it together as long as you can. So
yeah, I was lucky enough to meet Patrick over at training camp before he became a star. Right before he took over the reins in 2018. They had the season ticket holder thing, and we met Big Fish and Kelsey and Mahomes. They all came over. We got to take some pictures with him. And, the dude is different. He's a special dude. And even though, he went on to throw 50 touchdowns that year, I was sitting in LA with my wife opening day, and Tyreek runs the punt back, and then we get the ball back, and then he just throws that slant, to Tyreek over the middle. He takes it to the house, and I look at my wife, and I said, this is it. I said, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's this year, next year. I said, but this is it. And I just think that relationship, between him and Big Red, it's just got to continue to evolve.
Yes.
They're going to try to do things to throw throw the timing off. I understand that the NFL's, not stupid. They're going to try to do things to sabotage our plans. And obviously the O-line overhaul is a big start, because we all looked at each other. I was there live, obviously, and was like, oh no, we need depth. We need some youth here. And I'm excited for it. I just want to, see their development as it goes on. Like you said, year 5, year 6, year 10, and then obviously, hopefully lifetime for Patrick.
It's hard to get rid of a quarterback once you kind of made a name for yourself as a quarterback and solidified, certain statutes. It's hard for a team and a franchise to let you go. We've seen it with so many players. Yes, at the end of their career, you might, as far as like what you were saying with Brett Favre, Brett had already played 15, I think, plus years at that point. They had already brought in Aaron Rodgers. So they had already kind of found him someone to fill his shoes. But it's just kind of like with Russell Wilson. He's going to be at Seattle forever. It sounded like he wanted out. And that's the only reason I think nowadays that you would see a player go opposite of the franchise is because he wants out. Kind of like what Deshaun Watson was trying to do at Houston before all of his allegations came about. Aaron Rodgers is doing it at Green Bay, but now it's like he wants out. But it's further on down the line after they've already made these great careers. I think Patrick has already solidified himself with Kansas City to say that he's going to be there. Well, we're all hoping for the majority of his career and not see him go play elsewhere. But who knows? Maybe 12th, 13th year in his career, he I don't want to say it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to think it. I'm just saying it might be a thought. We don't want to see it or hear it, but it might be a thought because we don't know where his talent's going to, be at that time of the year. And we might see some other guy that's basically playing the same way he does or better at a young age in college. So you never know. I'd love to see him play 18 years in KC.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I don't want to miss this part of the element of it is I just look at how not only like Andy and the organization, but I'm talking about the entire city. The entire city in itself has just truly embraced and put their arms around Patrick. And it's just different. Y'all seen it. It's different. When I'm sitting there looking.
But I know what I'm saying, because I guarantee you, nobody in Wisconsin wants to see Aaron Rodgers leave. Yeah, nobody in Seattle wants to see Russell Wilson leave.
Yeah.
There's special players in that team. Nobody in New England wanted to see Tom Brady leave. He did that on his own.
Right.
I'm trying to prove a point.
I'm getting grocery bags with Patrick Mahomes' picture on it. We've seen all the billboards all over the place.
Kansas City Royals, minority ownership,
Come on.
Roots, getting roots set in deep.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Patrick's going to have a statue in about 5 years.
Hey, he's on the road to do it, and the people love him.
Oh, I know.
Shoot, why not?
He'll have a statue, and there's going to be a street named after him.
Yeah.
Maybe even a holiday.
In Texas, and in Kansas City for sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, match made in heaven.
Right. All right, we could. I got another question, a defensive question. If we wanted to throw it, you want me to throw it on over to Eric for that question?
Let's do it,
Marcus. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking here specifically at the secondary heading into the 2021 season. Obviously, I think we're pretty legit at safety with the Honey Badger. Hopefully, that extension gets done. That's kind of part of the question, Eric. If you think that will get done. We got Dirty Dan and Thornhill. Hopefully the knee is feeling good and he's going to come back firing on all cylinders. But I'm more concerned about what the plan is for Spags at cornerback. Your thoughts on that with DeAndre Baker? Is Breezy, Breland are we going to re-sign him? Or if we're not going to re-sign him, what we think we're going to do at the cornerback position?
So I think at some point we're going to re-sign Honey Badger. He's kind of like what Jason was saying, the Mahomes of the defense. I think right now we've done enough to get a good front seven to where I hate to say it, but if we don't get Breland, we're not too concerned about it because right now his ticket is high. For being a starter, winning a Super Bowl, he's had a pretty legit career so far. His contract for himself, he's pretty much written himself a nice contract. Kansas City going to be the one to give it to him? I don't know. I doubt it. Just because of the simple fact that I think that we may need another receiver. We might see what Julio's about right now, or we might see who else is out there available to add to our tremendous three that we have in Hill, Kelsey, and Mahomes. But as far as I think if our front seven proves to be good enough, I don't see why we would pay Breeland the money that he needs, because if you got a great front seven, the secondary only has to do a little in order to make the play, keep the plays in front of them, and come make the tackles. So you're not asking for them to do a whole lot if you can add that kind of pressure to a quarterback to get the ball out of his hands quick. And I think we've added some good pieces to the defensive line and especially to the linebacker core to where our front seven is good enough to be, I don't want to say superior, but good enough to add pressure to help our secondary more.
Yeah, I think the addition of Reed is going to be huge on the D line. I really do. I feel like that's gonna push the pocket up the center. It's obviously going to free up Jones a little bit more, but Frank Clark, I think, is going to have a big year with that addition. And there's a lot of information out there. What you're saying in regards to the rush getting up, from the front four, and how long the secondary obviously has to cover, and what they are able to do keeping the ball in front of them. Do you think DeAndre Baker, coming off he flashed a little bit when we got him at the end before he hurt his leg? Do you think he might be a guy that might step in on the other side where Breezy was, or what do you think?
We got him from the Giants? We got him from the Giants?
Yeah, there was that controversy where basically they tried to set him up, and then they didn't have the information, and then they released him, and then he signed with us. He flashed a couple times in the end of the season, then he broke his leg. But all signs are that he's healthy and he's ready to go. He was a first-round draft pick, I believe, with the Giants a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So being that high of a draft pick, he's obviously got the talent. It's just a matter of how you bounce back from that injury. And being at 100%, it helps him going into the camps. So he gets to get these plays under his belt to prove that he can make plants off of that leg, and that he's worthy of competing for that number one spot. And if he can prove that, heck, like I said, I like Breeland. I'm a big Breeland fan. But we don't have to worry about that big contract that he's looking for. And it's sad to say, because again, he's a proven guy. You want to see all your guys get paid, but if it's detrimental to the team of what we're trying to accomplish here, then we got to do what's best within the team. And if our front seven's good enough, then we make way with what we have in the secondary.
Cool. I think between Snead and Ward, you got those two, and then you also
Ward played well last year.
Yeah, he's good. He's a gem. Veach has found these gems in these late rounds, these undrafted guys. But then you talk about bringing Mike Hughes, who was a former first-round pick, and you have Baker, who's also a former first-round pick. Those are guys who haven't really been injured or not played for whatever reasons. They could pan out. I mean, to play at least up to maybe up to the potential at a first-round pick, or even somewhat close to that. So we got guys. I mean, if we don't want to pay that what Breeland's asking for, and we got guys who could step up in those roles, I think.
Cool. All that was just bargaining tools in itself anyway. I mean, that's why they're bringing these guys in, for the case of Breeland not being here. And of course, you go into negotiations listen, we got this guy in, his agent sees it, he sees it. So it's that was part of, I think, the tweet of him not feeling like he was really welcome, or man, I'm being underrated out here. Everybody's looking at me I'm not that guy. But look what I've done for you all for the past couple of years, right? But look, like I said, there's a lot of rooms there in the Chiefs that I love opening the door and looking who we got in the room. I like who we got in the room in a lot of it, right? But I do believe we need Breeland. I'm just saying that, just to make it solid, no question about it. I think he has that ability. He's proven to me that he can get it going. He's played well. He's played absolutely well for us. And so I think we need him.
It just depends on what he's asking for.
I hear you, but look, we in May right now, okay? We're about to be in June.
So what if he's asking for a healthy contract that we can't re-sign Honey Badger?
Listen, we didn't talk about moving numbers, right? We got Brown, we can move numbers. We can move. Well, shoot, let's move some other numbers, right? Let's start.
Yeah, the salary cap is fake,
right? Right. Let's figure this thing out. We can get it. Look, and the thing is, I always say this. which is just a great saying is the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't, right? Yeah. He's at home. Look, I said, if you go 1 year, 2 years, let's try to get this deal done, get as much money as you can. Then you can hit the free agency market after that, and then see what you can do. Now what you're doing is making a better case for you, right? Especially now because you want to get into camp. And I said it's the worst thing to be out on the street and not talking to your boys like you want to be, be in a room with them. And that says a lot though too. So now what you're doing, like I said, he's like a little kid looking at, a mechanic store, and he can't go in there and play. And you see new friends coming having birthday cake, and you're like, man, I'm not even going to the party. Yeah,
not a Honey Badger's talking about switching and taking his number. I mean, what's up with that?
Man. Yeah, for real.
I mean, how do you go from Breezy, and Sean Smith and wearing 21, and then I don't know if my Honey Badger's 32, man. I don't know if I can deal with that.
Right.
That's crazy. I saw where the guy from the Cowboys is switching from 54 to 9. And he's got to buy out the whole inventory of 54s, which is like 6 figures. I wonder if they're doing that with every player that wants to switch their number.
I heard they are. I heard if you're like an established player, semi-superstar, and they got those jerseys printed, that you got to buy them. That's what I'm hearing.
Wow. Jeez.
It's crazy.
Mahomes said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
What do you guys think? A little bonus question here. It's been on my mind lately. All these thoughts are thrown around, and you hear this or that on the streets, about wide receiver position. Obviously, we got the new guy from Clemson, Powell. He looks like a mini Sammy in uniform. We don't know what he's going to do. There was some talks to some of the others, like you mentioned, Julio. What about a guy, that's got some physicality, that's got some edge to him, a guy like Golden Tate that's had some really good years. I don't think he's signed with anybody yet. Maybe he has. I haven't seen it, but he's just got a little edge to him. I think that could bring, a little bit of experience, a little bit more edge to the wide receiver.
We've had that conversation many times, bringing in Golden Tate. I don't know what his ticket is right now. I know he's double-digit years. So he can't. So he can't be asking for too much. Because even the last squad that he played for, I don't think he put up the numbers to get him $9-10 million a year. I don't think he's worth that. So that'd be a good bring-in for us.
I mean, he played for Detroit, obviously, and then he went to New York. And I don't think he didn't go anywhere in between those two spots. So obviously, he hasn't done a ton of winning.
Yeah, true.
I mean, his chance to play with Patrick, I don't know. It was a name that I thought maybe we could get on the cheap, when free agency started. And I just haven't heard really anything about him, like in any regards for any team, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was wondering your thoughts on it.
Yes, I don't know his age, and I don't know if teams are looking at it that way. It's like, okay, he's an older guy. He didn't do much with the team last year. When Barkley went down. So what's the point of us bringing him in if he's not going to be one of those that can get separation and be a possession guy? So I didn't get to watch him to see what kind of movement that he has at this age and at this stage in his life. So that's probably what a lot of teams are looking at.
Well, I like Golden Tate as a talent. I do. I even thought about maybe like Alshon Jeffries, right? I don't know what he'll bring in, but I like big receivers anyway. I like somebody taking up space. When you let a guy take up space, let all the little guys run around and create, get open at that point. So that's what I was thinking about. I don't know, Golden Tate's like 5'10", Yeah, he's kind of in that same fit of everybody else. Do you want the same fit? You want all the guys looking the same when you're out there? That's my question, right? When we got Travis Kelce, a big guy, Robinson on the outside is kind of big, but I like a big guy to kind of take up space. That's what Sammy gave. Sammy gave was like that guy that had that size, tough to bring down, get open, create space, body up a linebacker, in the corner. So I don't know. Alshon, I'm sure he's available for little money, to get in here too. And he's got a rapport with him. So that's another thing. But those two names, because I told we threw those around, Golden Tate and Alshon. But I don't know. But let's keep us Julio going. Let's keep us Julio talk going. That's what I
baby.
The Julio talk.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I mean, if anyone's going to do it, Veach is going to do it. I mean, $177 a couple Marches ago, and then all those extensions. So, anything is possible. I have the In Veach We Trust shirt. I do own it. I did get to meet him one time at training camp, and he seemed like a pretty smart dude. One of those guys that's always thinking, maybe doesn't, just seems like his wheels are always turning in his head. So I think if he can get Julio here and it's not going to, break the bank, I think there's a possibility of it. And why wouldn't Julio, with his age and getting up there, been in the league a long time, had his chance in the Super Bowl, which obviously the coaching staff mismanaged the clock, maybe the worst of all time.
Absolutely.
Cost him a ring. Why wouldn't he want to come and sling it a year or two with Patrick Mahomes? I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, seriously, it's just the same.
I agree with you. Like, I don't understand like why all the ESPN or Sports Center guys, they never bring up like, okay, why isn't he a good fit for Kansas City? I don't see how that doesn't work. They never mention him like being a possibility of coming here. They're saying like go wherever Aaron Rodgers go to these other teams. Like these teams can use you. Well, shit, we can use you too.
Yeah,
you can fit right in with this offense that we have and be just as good as you were in the past. So because you got the quarterback, you got an explosive offense that you'd be a part of, and you're just as explosive as the guys that we have. So add to it.
Yeah, it'd be a matchup nightmare. So and we talked about that a little earlier, but yeah, I hope we can pull off Julio Jones to be amazing. And actually, Marcus Spears did mention us. He has the Ravens as his number one team, but he thinks the Chiefs could also be a team for Julio Jones to go to. Ravens, I still don't understand that. Why would you go there and not get utilized? That's what I would say.
I mean, I did watch the Pro Bowl a couple years ago, and Jarvis Landry beat Jackson in the QB challenge. I'm just saying. I mean, I think the guy's talented. He's a great athlete. But Jarvis Landry did beat him in the QB challenge. I'm just going to throw it out there.
You know what, John? That was my response. I think was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I like watching Lamar play. I'm loyal to my Chiefs. But I give props to other players throughout the league. And I think Lamar is a really, really good player. I don't think he has the accuracy at quarterback, which is why he is a one-read quarterback to take off running. So if that first read is not open, he's not looking at second and third reads. He's looking for gaps to run through. And unless you're wide open, he's not putting that ball on the money. So why take that chance when you're going to turn into like a blocking receiver?
Listen, look, y'all got it wrong. I'm trying to tell you, man, nobody can get open out there. Nobody can get open. That's why he had to throw it down the middle to Andrews all the time. And nobody on the outside would get open. That's why
it's like 15 yards, though.
Huh?
It's only like 12, 15 yards most of the time. It's not that hard of a throw, is it, if he's open?
But they was never open. That's the key of it. Look, I would say this.
Professional athletes,
Look, the Raven receivers have given a lot of guys false sense of security and probably got some guys paid because they were so bad at receiving the football, getting open. They're like, man, you locked down the Baltimore. I'm like, well, who didn't? Who didn't lock down the receivers from Baltimore? Friendly, man. Hey, look, Lamar.
Hey, Dez Bryant came back and had catches, so it obviously wasn't that hard for them to get open. I mean,
and Dez been on the street for 2 years, 3.
Exactly. So that's just what I'm saying. If he can come back and get open and get some catches, huh?
Okay.
Eric's saying if Dez can get open when he hasn't, it's played except in his driveway for 3 years, why can't Hollywood get open?
Exactly.
Look, Hollywood, and everybody, I think people don't realize how fast Hollywood is. And he's a little guy. He's another little guy. He hasn't learned how to run routes.
That makes it easier.
No, come on, man. You getting bounced around? Look, you don't know how to run routes. Guys are hitting you.
You look at what all the little tiny receivers are doing. They're the ones that making all these little inside under 20-yard catches because it's too shifty. So who were we just talking about last week from Buffalo? Beasley.
Yeah. So
Beasley's good because he's a slot guy. He has a two-way goal to use his size and quickness. Same way with Hollywood.
Okay.
Put him inside slot, let him get that two-way goal, use your size and quickness.
What did what's the name of it? Josh Allen? Where was he at? The rushing quarterback? Where was he ranked? Rushing quarterbacks last year?
Was he 1 or 2?
No, thank you. Okay. So, but my point is this. You have Lamar Jackson, who is dynamic with his legs. Look, he can throw the football down the field, but he's going to beat you with his legs. Why would he take that element? You don't want to just make him a pocket passer. Look, The most dangerous guys on the field is being a double threat. I could run and throw the football against you. Come on, man. Teams.
It ain't gonna get you that far, though, man.
Huh?
It won't get you that far.
Oh, you crazy. Now, look. All right, I'm just saying this. Now he's got.
If Lamar can throw for 300 yards, I hate to say this, close your ears. If Lamar can throw for 300 yards, they can beat the Chiefs.
Oh no.
The problem is he can't. He won't ever throw for that 300 yards.
Listen, it's gonna take more than that. It's gonna take more than that now because you say that they got to stop our guys on our side. Now I say our Joes are better than they Joes. Would you agree? I would agree with that. I think our guys.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Than their guys. All right, for one. Okay, but if Lamar going and he's got better receivers on the outside now, he's got a guy to throw to. You watch what they do offensively. You watch. I'm just saying. I'm
gonna hold you accountable for that.
That's cool. Hey, look, hold me accountable. All right.
Hey, I love Lamar. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's going to develop. I think he's going to get more accurate. I'm just saying, when I saw the Pro Bowl, Jarvis Landry did beat him by a lot. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And he said himself, Lamar Jackson, from his very own mouth, that he said the Kansas City Chiefs are his kryptonite right now. And Superman, he had his kryptonite. So until he beats us, until he can do the 350-yard passing and not make the big mistake or get that big first down, late in the game and not have Mahomes do it, I'm going to roll Chiefs all day.
All day.
Hey, agree with you 100%. All I'm saying is, as soon as I come in as a coach, you don't have to cover nobody on the outside. All we do is stop Lamar from running. That's the game plan. These guys ain't getting open. I put it up on the big screen. These guys ain't getting open. They can't get out of the wet paper bag. Look.
He ain't making the throw, JD.
Huh?
So you say keep Lamar inside the hashes and you're good to go.
You're good to go. At least you have been since up until now. Now, you got some weapons on the outside.
Well, we have JD on the tape. Last week, he said that if he doesn't pan out this year with Rashad Bateman, Sammy Watkins, and Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews, then we can say that I think he can improve a little bit. He's not this
absolutely. Yeah,
badass.
They got two receivers in the draft, man. That's really good. So
yeah.
So we'll see. This is the make or break
now
here.
is the time. I can't wait. Is it September yet? Let's see
it.
it. Let's roll it out, baby.
Hold on.
Baby.
I don't think that Baltimore is going to have a 1,000-yard receiver.
Whoa.
JD, want to take him on that bet?
absolutely.
Ooh.
Receiver.
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Does Andrews count in that? Are you
I
gonna count
think
The tight end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I
his
think-
go-to, though. That's his go-to.
that's this guy.
this is guy.
That's his bailout. I don't know.
He ain't
I said
nobody
a
else.
receiver.
A receiver. so you think a receiver's going to get 1,000 yards, JD?
I think so. I think Brown has a chance to do it. Absolutely. Hollywood could definitely do it.
$100 bet.
Well, and the thing is, I'm saying,
Bet.
man, we can put a bet on this. What do you want?
Right.
Oh man, we can do it. We can.
Well, here,
Hey.
wait. I do a gambling segment. I'm just going to throw this out here for you real quick before you make this bet. All right. So you're saying maybe Hollywood Brown. So let's look at it. We got all these new receivers. We got one football. So you got Sammy Watkins. You got Hollywood Brown. You got the receivers that you just mentioned that got drafted and Mark Andrews. So are there going to be enough balls with the distance to go around for Hollywood Brown to get 1,000 along with the other guys, including Sammy? I don't know, man.
Hollywood Brown could take the top off any defense, and Lamar Jackson could throw it a ton. He could throw it out at the stadium. So
What are Hollywood Brown's yardage totals the last 2 years? Does anybody have that information handy? Do we have a stat man?
Yeah, I don't have it. But what I'm saying is
I can look it up.
he's going to benefit off those guys on the outside actually taking away from, him being double teamed and him running around. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, last 2 years, he had 769 yards last year, and the year before he had 584 yards.
Oh.
Oh,
It's
know,
going
man.
up, though.
I don't know, man.
It's going up.
Yeah,
He'll
so
have 800 next this year.
yeah, so
787.
about 200 more yards to get to 1,000. I'm ready for this guy. I'm ready. I'm ready for this one.
All right. Well, Johnny, it was awesome having you on, man. Anybody who's in Chiefs Kingdom who is not following this guy on Twitter is doing something wrong. It's at JBside13 on Twitter. And Johnny, you mentioned your podcast. Do you want to plug it here for us?
Yeah, it's a Chicago podcast. It does a lot with sports. It's called Brags in the Stands. It's not my podcast. It's a friend of mine. We do a lot of NFL. My segment is about sports betting, football. That's my specialty. It's called Johnny B for 3. It'll start back up once we get rolling with the NFL. But, we were lucky enough to bring Mitch Holtis on the show a few weeks ago. I had a little tie there that somebody knew him and we hooked it up and it was good. But it's a lot of fun. I'm also throwing out my duck races, that I do for Chiefs Kingdom. I give away a lot of prizes, anything from Jack Stag Barbecue, the owner's a friend of mine, to artwork from all these artists in Chiefs Kingdom, signed memorabilia from the cheetah and a lot of other people. So we do a lot, and I giving a lot away for charity and stuff like that. So check it out if you want to have some fun and make some money with some bets. It's all fun. It's all positive. That's the key.
We follow each other on Twitter, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. So I need to know.
I got to make sure I'm following you, man. But man,
All
I
right.
appreciate all your questions.
No problem. No problem. Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me on. I look forward
let's have you back on during the season.
Yeah, have me on there this season. I'll be at all the games. I'm down in 127, section 127, a little bit shaded towards the Chiefs bench, about 7th row. That's where my seats are. So maybe we'll see each other at the game this year. Full capacity, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Like a plan.
Awesome,
Go
Johnny.
big. Oh, we can't
all
say
right,
go
guys,
big
have
red.
a good night.
Go Chiefs.
Have a good one, buddy.
Man, be good now. Be good. Johnny, be good.
That was great having Johnny on. We have that bet now. That's recorded, JD. So remember that.
He will talk about the stakes, all right, a little bit later.
Awesome. All right. Well, that does it for us, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you next week. And as always, if anyone in Chiefs Kingdom has any concerns for these two, please tweet at us at @ConcernsChief and follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you can find your podcast. Gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
Good night, gents.
All right, now.